Hello, my darlings. Well, today is Wednesday, so that means it is our weekly Fiibro episode. And that noise, if you heard it in the background, was my cat right here. This is Willow jumping up on the back of the sofa. The other one is kind of circling. I know it's a bit of a different scene, but I decided rather than setting everything upstairs, I would just kind of do this video here in the living room. As you guys know, I like to do my Fiibro episodes and stuff a wee bit more intimate, so I always do it on my iPad because I think there's something about doing it as raw as this here. Yes, it's grainy, it's not perfect light, and it's not the same as whenever I do the videos on my my beauty videos and things like that. But also none of this is really edited. It's just sort of fired up, and whatever way I look is the way I look. I haven't cried as much today as I have the rest of the week, so that's something. But my makeup is totally off, and do you know what? I couldn't even care less. It's nearly bedtime anyway. Well, I say it's nearly bedtime. It's like 8 o'clock. You know, it's bedtime for normal people. I'll be still awake for, I don't know. I'm really rambly. Anyway, guys, it's a bit of an interesting video tonight, and I wasn't sure I was even gonna do it. I'm sorry, the lighting is gonna keep flashing. Hang on, actually, let's do this. I'm right in front of the TV, so every time it changes from like one advert to the next or whatever's on, it's the light is flashing. So anyway, I wanted to talk about something that's very, very important, and something that is really, this is hard to say. I don't even know what way to even say this. Okay. Obviously, with Fiibro, we all have to look after ourselves. We have to make sure that we don't overdo things, and we have to learn our limits. Now, the problem with that, there comes times in your life where, even though you know your limits, you have to push past them. You have to keep going whenever your body's telling you not to. And the reason I'm bringing this up at the moment is because you may know from previous videos and stuff, I've kind of hinted around there's personal things going on, there's been family illness and things like that. Well, to kind of make a long story short, my father-in-law has been battling pancreatic cancer since last August. I'm going to try and get through this without crying. Unfortunately, we thought he was doing really, really well up until probably about a month ago, when we found out that for the third time, his tumour had grown. Now, in between that, there was a time that it had shrunk, and we thought we were doing good. But anyway, 2 weeks ago, he started getting very sick, and we'd been struggling to get him to eat for a while. And anyway, we ended up Sunday week ago, we finally convinced him to go to the hospital. And I say we because it took us days to convince him that he needed to go to the hospital, because in his head, if he went to the hospital, he wasn't coming home again. So we took him in, and by this stage, he's so tiny. He's a shell of the person that I knew. So that was Sunday week ago. Last Wednesday, I went with my brother-in-law to meet with my father-in-law's doctor, and we found out that day that he probably only has a few weeks left with us. I say probably. I wish it was probably. He's in the final stages of his cancer. There's nothing more the chemo can do for him, so it's all about keeping him comfortable. And we were given the choice of whether he should go to hospice or whether we would bring him home. And we all want to bring him home because he wants to come home, and the hospice isn't that close to us, so it's hard for us all to get to. And really, we just want him home with us. So the thing is, as I'm a very caring person, I always want to do as much as I possibly can I also was a care worker for a couple of years before I got really ill. So I've stepped up and I've gone, okay, when we bring him home, obviously Marie Curie can't always be with him. We can't, the nurses and things will only be in a couple of days. The rest of the time he is going to need somebody there quite a lot with him, and my husband and his brothers work a lot. They're not always going to be able to be there. And I said, look, yes, I have my own business, but I'm still at a stage where it was still in the early stages. It's not fully sorted, you know, I'm still quite new to that. So apart from YouTube, I actually have the time to look after him. So I'm going to be his full-time carer whenever he comes home. Now we're hoping he'll be home with us on Friday. He's very much, at the moment, he's very much asleep. And we're hoping that that's how he stays, because we've seen him really suffer and we don't want to see him suffer anymore. So he's on a lot of morphine and paracetamol. So we're hoping now that he just stays asleep with us. So that wasn't really, long story short, as I'd hoped it was. But I have spent the last couple of weeks up and down to the hospital, sometimes twice a day. I'm round at my in-laws, and I'm walking the dog. You guys know that I've walked the dog for months anyway, and that was the reason I was walking the dog, was because my father-in-law hasn't been the same. You know, he's needed the help, and there has been times where it's really taken its toll on me before, and I've ended up having to take a lot of rest. For me, my in-laws, I mean, I call them mum and dad. I've been with my husband for 10 years now, and I'm as close to them as I am my own parents. They live right around the corner from me. When I was sick, at the real height of my illness, I mean, Dad was there for me. He took me to appointments. My physio appointments, he would have waited with me and brought me home again. He'd have made sure I came in for lunch and stuff before he dropped me back to my house. And it's like losing my own father. What's going on now? And then the other side of it is I'm watching my husband suffer as well, and I'm watching the whole family. So I'm trying to be emotionally strong when I'm with them. I am letting myself have the times where I cry, and I have cried with my husband, I've cried with my in-laws, and you know, it's been really, really draining. But I'm doing my best to try and keep myself to a stage where I can keep going physically as well, because, for example, today I got up, I did a bit of housework, and then I got ready, I got washed, got ready, went round, walked Toby, then went to the hospital for the couple of hours visit this afternoon, then came home, I walked Toby again, came home. By the time I came home, my head was really sore because I didn't really get a good sleep last night. I've kind of had the tension headache that you get whenever everything is going crazy and you don't know what way is up. I kind of had that lurking for a few days, and sometimes I get a hold of it, sometimes I don't. But I'm kind of rambling. I had a point to this video. My point is that when it comes to times like this here, you're really going to need to pull strength from somewhere so that you can keep going, because if it ever comes a time in your life where you have to go through this with someone, and I wouldn't wish this on anybody. It's horrible. You know, you're heartbroken because you know that someone you love is going to pass away. You're heartbroken because you're watching them suffer. You're heartbroken because you're watching your family suffer, you know. And people are always asking questions. How is he? How are things? You know, and I'm sitting, I'm picking my nails. I don't even bite them anymore. I pick them. Oh, seriously. Anyway. I don't even know where I was going with that. I've just picked this nail down past the quick. Ouch. Anyway, I'm just not gonna sit here and do a video where I'm picking my nails. That's it, because you all tune in just to watch me pick my nails. Oh. If you're still watching to this stage, please comment below nail picker. Or comment below stop picking your nails, weirdo. Anyway, seriously, I had this all planned out in my head, exactly what I was going to talk about. And it's one of those things that I don't even know what way is up right now. My head has never been so full of everything. But right now, the only thing holding me together is I have a strong relationship with my husband. I have a strong relationship with my family, and the utmost thing is I'm pulling strength from God, and I'm praying every day. And I've spoken with my father-in-law as well. When I said to him today, Dad, like, I need to chat with you about something. You know, I really need you to pull closer to God now that everything is so scary, and we're going through a lot of dark days. And I asked him if it would be okay if I would pray with him, and he was okay with that. So I'm finding comfort in that my father-in-law wants to know God, and I know that that's not going to be the case for everybody.